Yo guys, what's going on? My name is HackingIsFreedom and welcome to the third episode of What Was Cut, a series where we take a look at what exactly was cut from our favorite games. Today we're going to be looking at the Simpsons Game. I covered the Simpsons Hit and Run and Road Rage in my first two episodes, so if you guys haven't seen them yet, I highly recommend checking those out. Links will be in the description. Anywho, let's join the Simpson family and become superheroes.
Oh, you're lucky I'm scared of your superpowers.
Okay, so a lot of areas got changed or went unused, so let's talk about some of those first. The first area that goes unused in the final game is this small room here, and this is actually located underneath the Sleep Easy motel. Due to the colors and the objects in the room, it's believed that this was Smithers' apartment. What his apartment was going to be used for is unknown, though it may have been used for an Easter egg. Next up is this interior of the retirement home, and this was also pushed under the map. The textures and objects are in a pretty basic state, so I'm assuming this was cut very early in development. This next area is just labeled as Zone 3, and it was supposed to be used in the Enter the Cheatrix mission. To me, it kinda looks like it's a very early version of the Blood Vats room. The ceiling doesn't have a mesh either, so the camera would have been in a fixed position, or the mesh simply wasn't finished. It's hard to be sure. There's another area that was meant for the same mission simply called Zone 4, and uses the same basic texture seen in the previous area. The bridge in the middle is movable, and it leads to a sign saying Power Boost. I'm really not sure where this area was supposed to be used, or if it was supposed to be used at all. Next we're going to talk about a few places that have been changed from the final game. In the mission Shadow of the Colossal Donut, the Lard Lad building originally had an advertisement for the Power Sauce bars, which would have been a pretty cool reference to the show. You can also see that the skybox used to be set in the daytime rather than the dark clouded one we have in the final game. For some reason, they completely removed the ye old off-ramp in, maybe because this building was rarely seen even in the Simpsons show itself. Other than that though, I have no idea why this was removed. Cockamammies took the biggest slap in the face when it comes to design changes. It went from this basic yellow building with no identity seen in the Wii prototype to this building with its name and identity, but then stripped of its identity once more, and this generic building is what we got in the final game. I guess that the developers were really unsure on how they wanted to use this building. The Sleep Easy motel was completely removed from the final game, and this is where the previously mentioned Smithers' apartment was. Looking at the placement, it's quite possible that this was cut for performance reasons. And lastly, they completely cut all three of the cheap stores seen in the episode 30 Minutes Over Tokyo. This cut was a bit shocking to me because this is kind of a niche reference, and the building placement seemed perfect in reference to the show. Continuing with the theme of design changes, let's talk about some textures that have been changed. First up are the changes to the Duff beer bottles you see when earning a trophy. We have Jurassic Duff, and it's quite obvious why this was changed. Duff Sellout became Duff Special Reserve, and the last one is called Duff DB Sport, and it's the only one that didn't quite make a final version into the game. To me, this kinda looks like they were trying to poke fun at EA Sports, similar to the EA Foods Bite Night Champion joke. Where this trophy was supposed to be earned is unknown. However, it's believed that it was once earned in either the Enter the Cheatrix or Bargain Bin missions. Next we have some posters that were definitely changed for copyright reasons. The first one being a poster of Krusty Begins, and as you can see, the earlier poster design is almost a one-to-one with the actual Batman Begins movie poster. There's also a video game poster for Krusty's Stop and Go, and once again, the original poster almost looks one-to-one with the real Simpsons Road Rage box art. It's even supporting the Platinum Hits subtitle seen in the Xbox box art. In levels that feature Marge, her Gangsta Clean hairspray pickup originally depicted a drunk Selma Bouvier, which is a pretty strange design choice. I don't think I've ever seen Selma drunk in the show. The loading screen originally had an animation of Krusty rather than Itchy and Scratchy fighting. Here's what it would have looked like. The title screen also went through some good design changes. The first one here is the earliest, and it was seen in the Wii prototype build. The middle one is the Xbox 360 E3 build, and obviously the last one is the one we all know and love. Personally, I really like the middle one. And lastly, for altered textures, we have an iconic meme that basically started the genre of internet remixes.
How are you, gentlemen? All your base are belong to us.
That's right. In the level Invasion of the Yokel Snatchers, this image of cats from Zero Wing was supposed to be shown in one of the UFO screens. I'm sure this was cut due to copyright reasons, just like the Jurassic Duff, but I absolutely love how well they made this reference. Let's stray away from things that have been changed and get into some actual unused content. So first up we got early HUD icons for each playable character. Not too much was changed for Bart, but the most notable are the designs for the atom and the grenade icons. Homer's icons were definitely more placeholder looking. We can see an early lava type Homer for the Guatemala pepper near the bottom, and at the top it showcases three different Homers. The first one is obviously just basic for the Homer ball, and the other two look like they were fire and ice versions. There's not too much to say about Lisa's HUD icons, but the most notable one here is definitely the Buddha hand statue. And same goes for Marge. The only thing that was really changed up on her was her megaphone. Remember the ye old off-ramp building from earlier? Well, she strikes back again with this unused texture of the building's windows. And obviously this was just left over from when the building was still in the game. In the first area of Medal of Homer, these 4 posters were supposed to appear. I'm not really sure why they have this blue hue to them though. My favorite by far is the Chateau Mason, only 10% antifreeze. There's also 2 posters intended for the second area of the same level. The Krav Kalash is a great reference, and it sucks that this didn't make it into the final game. Next up we have an unused texture for the levers seen around the map, and I'm sure this was just a placeholder due to the art being so crude. And lastly, we have this mission accomplished texture. I'm pretty sure this was supposed to be shown at the end of the level, and I'm also pretty sure this was cut for being too close to the Medal of Honor series. In the Lisa the Tree Hugger level, this texture of a barrel of Little Lisa Slurry was supposed to appear. This barrel, minus the text and picture, can actually be seen in both of the game's test levels, which we'll cover later in the video. This picture of Marge is used in the Simpsons house, however due to where it's placed in a restrictive camera, you can normally not see it. Following up with Marge, she also used to collect pacifiers instead of batteries. I'm really not sure why this was changed though, collecting pacifiers just seems much more suiting for Marge. Surprisingly, the game is planned to have DLC added much later in its life cycle. There's even an option for it in the Xbox E3 build. This presumably would have brought you to the PSN or Microsoft Store depending on your console. This texture here shows where the areas would have been when you've bought in all the DLC. Perhaps this is why so many locations were changed. Next I'm going to group some placeholder images together because they're really all not that interesting. However, we have 4 placeholder images that were used for the in-game cutscenes before they were finished obviously. For some weird reason, the level Super Big Happy Fun game has unique placeholder artwork for this very same thing. In the Wii prototype, if you go to the data management of the Wii console, you'll find this image, which is obviously pretty crude. Looks like a motherfucking caveman drew this. These next 3 textures, I'm not really sure where they were supposed to appear, especially the food and air one. And lastly, there's 2 leftover placeholder images from The Godfather. EA and Visceral Games worked on both projects, and the Simpsons game runs on the same engine as The Godfather. The Godfather was also released a year beforehand. Finishing up The Godfather leftovers, we have 5 textures used for the targeting mechanics. I'm pretty sure this was used in an extremely early stage of development for the targeting system we have in the Simpsons game. The last 2 Godfather leftovers are icons of each system's controller. Strangely enough, the Xbox controller is named Controller_X360, when this is clearly not an Xbox 360 controller. In the Xbox 360 E3 build, all video game cliches have placeholder artwork. However, there are 2 cliches that got cut. The first one is named Hot Rocks, and it was unlocked by falling to your death in the bargain bin level. This was most definitely changed to the Chasm Death cliche, as the requirements to unlock it are pretty much identical. The next one is simply called Behold, and this was acquired by opening a specific chest with Homer. It's uncertain what level this would originally show up in, but it may have been featured in the NeverQuest level. This was most likely changed to the collectible placement cliche we see in the final game. Next up we have some early unfinished cutscenes. Basically every in-game cutscene was supposed to be made in 3D rather than the 2D art that we have now. I'm not going to show you every single one because that'll take way too long, but here's an early version of the Land of Chocolate.
Chocolate, half price.
Excuse me, Fatty. You're eating our world.
Hey, you like that rabbit thing from that book about a girl named Alice who goes to Wonderland. What was it called? Oh yeah, Snow White and Stupid Town.
For your information, I am the white chocolate rabbit.
Hey, white chocolate's not even chocolate. It doesn't even contain cocoa salad.
Well, if I'm not real chocolate, then you probably wouldn't be interested in eating me.
And here's an early version of Shadow of the Colossal Donut. Unlike the first video, this was all done by temporary voice actors.
Good evening, Springfield. Kent Brockman chasing local imbecile Homer Simpson and his delinquent son Bart, who have picked a fight with an out-of-control donut mascot statue. Bart Simpson, are you and your father insane? Hi, Lenny! I'm on TV, and I just said your name on TV! Don't tell Carl, unless he sees this, in which case, hi, Carl! Don't tell Lenny I just said your name!
Next, I want to show you just some rough storyboard art, and this first one is for the level Big Super Happy Fun Fun game. All the actors are real except for Millhouse at the end, which I find very strange.
Quick, Dad! You need to insert the Sparklemon into the coin slots!
Lisa, don't tell me how to use a toilet. Would you tell Chuck Yeager how to fly a jet?
Mr. Sparkle has risen from his banishment in the underworld. Now I must return to my corporation, where I am mascot for celery-flavored soy chip. Celsoy kills the hunger demon, but graciously adopts his children. Celsoy, Celsoy! But first, I will cleanse the world of Mr. Dirt.
I guess I should give you this shard now.
Ew, no way. I saw you picking your nose with it.
Dad, we need the key to save everyone we know. Just take it. Dad! Hey, come on, guys. Take it easy. My glasses.
The next one is for Around the World in 80 Bytes, and once again, it is all done by the real voice actors.
When you get out there, remember, no chewing. Chewing's for chumps. Nothing but swallow. Nothing but swallow.
I hope I win. Last year I was the first guy to barf.
Barf, please. In this business, we refer to that as a Roman incident.
That does sound a lot classier.
What are you worried about? You have video game powers on your side. It's like cheating, but cheating.
Woohoo! Cheating!
Duffman welcomes you to the Duff Ultimate Eating Challenge.
I'll dedicate this gorging to my dearly departed mother. She choked here in a haggis eating contest.
Hoy recuperaré mi dignidad.
With great hunger comes great responsibility.
Gentlemen, start your digestive tracts. On your mark, get set.
We have another one for Around the World in 80 Bytes. However, this one was all done in the temporary voice actors. This can actually be seen in the Wii prototype.
Remember, when you get out there, no chewing. Chewing's for chumps. Nothing but swallow. Nothing but swallow.
I hope I win. Last year I was the first guy to barf.
Ugh, a little discretion, please. In the business, we refer to that as a Roman incident.
Oh, that does sound a lot classier.
What are you worried about? You have video game powers on your side. It's like cheating, but cheating.
Woohoo! Cheating!
Duffman welcomes you to the Duff Ultimate Eating Challenge.
I dedicate this gorging to my dearly departed mother. She choked during a haggis eating contest.
Aquí ganaré mi dignidad de nuevo.
With great hunger comes great responsibility. Gentlemen, start your digestive tracts.
And lastly, we have a simple placeholder video, presumably for the end of the game. A big thanks to Edness for originally documenting and uploading these videos to the cutting room floor. His link will be in the description if you want to check him out. Now we're going to talk about the unused sounds and voice lines. We have a bunch of unused voice lines from the 4 playable characters, and they also have a bunch of unused text-to-speech voice lines as well. I'll go through the ones that have their actual voices first. So we have Homer with 11 cut voice lines.
I want to reach you, but I can't. Something's in my way. Go! I can't get through. Stupid physical boundary. I'm being blocked. I hope so. Oh, you're lucky I'm scared of your superpowers. I can't understand you. There's too much static. That's not in my contract. I'll have you know my fear of height has contributed greatly to my weight problem. Why does it all come down to race for you?
And 7 are with the AT&T Mike's voice, which is the specific voice used for this text-to-speech.
I love eating. More. Japan. Is it okay to drink when I am on Dramamine? Because I am going to. Japan is an even bigger dump than. Japan is an even bigger dump than America. Do the Japanese have beer? Or do they drink some weird cuckoo juice? I don't know whether to be airsick or seasick.
Next is Bart with 9 cut voice lines.
Bartman to the rescue. Video game violence rules! Another victory for video game violence. Whoa, everything turned black and white. Nice, Dad. You're like a morbidly obese Sherlock Holmes. Dad, I need you to defy physics and climb this ladder. Homer, we have a problem. Climb up here. Wow, this is what it was like 50 years ago. I opened the door. Now can you fit through it, lard butt?
He also has 9 in the text-to-speech voice.
Bart character switch. Bart can't reach you. Bart waiting for you. Bart wait there. Bart on my way. I can't reach you. Something is in the way. I am blocked. Blocked. Stupid boundary.
The next two are Marge and Lisa, and sadly they only have text-to-speech voice lines left. We'll start with Lisa first.
Look at that pretty logo. Lisa character switch. Lisa on my way. Lisa wait there. Lisa waiting for you. Lisa can't reach you. There is something in my way. I can't reach you. Something is blocking me. Where you go? I cannot follow. ILL flick you like a bug. Dad. Stopping the dirt sumos made that lantern light up. Keep fighting them. There is only one more lantern to go. Dad. Flicky, flicky, flicky. Buddha flick.
And here are the Marge ones. The strangest one for her is definitely the sex should be free remark. I could definitely see why that was cut.
Marge character switch. Marge waiting for you. Marge wait there. Marge on my way. Marge can't reach you. Hugs not drugs. Yo mama is like a Big Mac. 99 cents on Wednesdays. Sex should be free. Obstacle. Obstacle. I need to be with you but I can't I can't reach you.
Next we have Professor Frank with 3 cut voice lines.
Tutorials are fun, but now we're done. Let's play some games. Fantastic. Now it's time to apply your new skills to these games. Okay. It's time to apply your new knowledge.
By hearing these, my guess is that Frank used to have the role of comic book guy, explaining the various tutorials and video game cliches. This sound is labeled as UI placeholder sound, so it is obviously meant for the pause screen when you select an option. There were plans for the Statue of Liberty boss fight to have its own outro music. Take a listen. And the last one up on our sound list is labeled as BRT Temp, and this was surprisingly taken straight from the Incredibles soundtrack. This was more than likely just a leftover test file, as Michael Giacchino is a composer that worked on the Incredibles and the Simpsons Game. As we come to the end of the video, you know what's coming next. Let's talk about the oddities that I couldn't really fit anywhere else. A lot of the later mission names were changed at some point in development. The most notable changes are the Cheater being renamed to the Cheatrix, the Day Springfield Stood Still was changed to Invasion of the Yokel Snatchers, Rhymes with Complaining was changed to 5 characters in search of an author, and Meet Thy Player was changed to Game Over. The level The Land of Chocolate originally had these marshmallow trees scattered around. I believe because of the animation, these were probably cut for performance reasons. They were testing 4-player split screen on the PS2 generation of consoles before it was scrapped. What's interesting though is the final game, even on PS3 and Xbox 360, they only have 2 areas where all 4 Simpsons can actually be seen and used. However, even on the PS3 and Xbox, the maximum player count is only 2. While technically still in the game, graffiti for Alberto was supposed to appear behind the grocery store, but the developers messed up in the positioning. Instead of it being 0.4 units in front of the wall, they moved it 0.4 units back, making it invisible. For some reason, they also removed this ladder, which was used to get on top of the grocery store. Planet Hype was known as Planet Springfield in both the early Wii prototype and the later Xbox 360 build, which I find kinda strange because it was never called Planet Springfield, even in the show. There are 3 different versions of each level artwork. In almost all cases, I prefer the PS2 versions. They're in much lower quality, but I just think the design and locations of where the screenshots were taken fit so much better than what we got in the final game. And last, but certainly not least, is the 2 test maps that are left over in the Wii prototype. There's not much difference between the 2, but the first one is called Metrics, and the other one is called M&L, standing for Marge and Lisa. For the Metrics map, you spawn in as Bart and Homer, and there's various objects here to test a bunch of stuff. From Bartman's gliding to Homer's ball ability. The deep pit was also used to test the jump pads and Helium Homer. For the M&L level, it's pretty much the same, but for Marge and Lisa's abilities. This is where you can see the Little Lisa slurry barrel. And that's all I have for the Simpsons Game. Thank you all so much for the feedback, comments, and interest on these videos. You truly have no idea how much this means to me, and I just cannot thank you guys enough. Thanks to these 3 users for this suggestion, and if you have your own suggestion for the next What Was Cut episode, please feel free to shoot a comment down below. And who knows, it might even become the next episode. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.